women, Ellis County Republican Women, so in case you don't know. And first we're going to start off with our chaplain, Barb Jacobs. She's going to come up and give the invocation.
Hello, everybody. Want a little prayer tonight? Okay. Here we go. Okay. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay. Heavenly Father, as we come to you today, asking you for your guidance, your wisdom, and your support. As we begin this meeting, help us engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of our community. Father, I bring the needs of our government, which is so important at this time, before you and ask you to bless our nation and through your godly leaders. Thank you for bringing us all together, that we can be here tonight and listen to our candidates, and we have free will and free speech. Thank you for all you have blessed us with and that you provide for us. And please help us put our main focus on your remaining days as we go forward in the future. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Amen.
Thank you, Barb. Next we'll have Melody Allen. She is our VP of Programs. She's going to lead us in the pledges for the U.S. flag and the Texas flag.
All right. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On the Texas flag.
On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, first, I would like to thank everyone for coming. We really appreciate it. We've got a great crowd, and I hope you've got to meet some of the candidates and have some of your questions answered, get to know them a little better. And I would like to share just a little bit of brief information about the Ellis County Republican Women in case those that are here that are not familiar. Some of our objectives of the organization are to increase the effectiveness of women in the cause of good government through active political participation, to facilitate cooperation among Republican women's organizations, to foster loyalty to the Republican Party and to promote its principles and candidates in all elections, including nonpartisan elections, to work for the election of the Republican Party's nominees. So if you would like to get involved some way, let one of us know. We'll be glad to bring you in and teach you what we know, and we'll all learn together. So now we're going to turn it over to Ken Roberts with KBEC.
Thank you so much, and it is good to see everyone here and to have such a wonderful crowd. We appreciate, Beverly, so much the opportunity to once again be able to partner with the Republican Women. We were trying to figure out just how long we've been doing this. My guesstimation is somewhere around 20 years or so, this type of format. And our thought was in originally starting this, and Tommy Worthy, she deserves a big round of applause because she really kind of got this thing going for us back in the day. Plus she makes really good desserts too, but we got that started, and our idea was just to introduce people to candidates. We didn't really want to have a debate format, but we knew that when people ran for office, the best thing to do is hear what their thoughts are about the office they're running for, what their vision is, to ask some questions that are pertinent, but not have a knockdown, drag-out debate. So that's what we've done all these years, and we're going to continue to do that. Our one regret is this year, it's the first year of all of these we've done that we will not be broadcasting the event. We had a communication tower that fell 2 weeks ago Wednesday, and it has knocked out our remote capabilities. So we're certainly glad to see such a wonderful crowd, knowing that we're not going to be able to broadcast, although I think there is maybe a live stream of some sort going on, so that's good too. We pre-drew the order for the races, and then just moments ago we had the candidates draw for the order that they will speak within those individual races. So without any further ado, I want to introduce D.B. LeBron. D.B., of course, if you've seen his Ellis County Talker, and he does a lot of great interviews, and he's got a huge one coming up, that if you see him slip out, it's one he can't miss. And it's a national figure, so we're excited about that, but he's going to help out while he can. He also has a show on KBEC every other Friday at 8:10. He'll be on tomorrow morning, and he'll be interviewing Jake Elsey, so you might want to tune in and catch that too. But D.B., thank you for being here and helping out. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So what we agreed upon and have done through the years is that we give each candidate 3 minutes to make an opening statement, and they'll each do that in the order they drew, and then we will ask 2 questions in each race. All of the candidates will have the opportunity in 2 minutes to address the question, and then they'll have 3 minutes to make a closing statement, which is pretty much your stump speech, why they should be voting for you. And so, with that being said, let's get started. Our first race is going to be for the district judge, the 443rd Judicial District, and we welcome Greg Wilhelm, Ken Lundberg, and also Grace Ponditherai to come join us at this time. Ponditherai, excuse me. And in that particular order, Greg Wilhelm drew number 1. Greg, your opening statement.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Greg Wilhelm, and I am running for judge of the 443rd Judicial District Court here in Ellis County. I want to thank the Republican Women for putting together this forum and for this opportunity to share with you who I am and what I stand for. Who I am is a man who was blessed by God to marry an amazing woman in 1990, and we are now 33 and a half years of amazingly married. I have a 23-year-old daughter who, by chance, is getting married next month, and a 21-year-old son. And we have lived in Ellis County beginning in 1990, and then we left to go to law school, came back, and ended back up in Midlothian, and have been in Midlothian since 2002. I have been practicing law for almost 25 years, and during that time, I have had the opportunity to be involved in and experience almost every area of the law. One of the major things that I was able to do, and I look forward to doing again, is I served as a presiding trial court judge here in Ellis County. And through that process, it continued to hone my commitment to what is truly what has to be the standard and what all judges do, which is a full commitment to the U.S. Constitution and to make all decisions within that bound of the Constitution, and to do it equally, and to do it justly, and to be able to do it in a fair and succinct manner. I believe that I am the individual who has those talents and training and capacity to do that, and that from day one, having been a trial court judge, I know what to expect, and I know how to step in there and to roll up my sleeves and begin working and pick up where Judge Ermitanger has left off. Through those 25 years, as an attorney and as a judge, I have represented some children that have had the most horrific child abuses that you would ever experience. As judge, I presided over an almost 5-week jury trial involving Munchausen syndrome by proxy that originally had over 10,000 pieces of evidence and 250 people on the witness list. Through that process, it even more so said that all decisions that a judge has to do, and what every attorney should do in advocating, is to make sure they stay within those bounds, because when you start breaking the barriers and the edges and the boundaries of the Constitution, what happens is you begin undermining the rights. So through that lens, it is my goal and commitment to apply those principles so that they will protect the citizens of Ellis County, their rights, will protect justice, and will ultimately, because the ruling of a state district judge can impact the state, is to protect Texas. I thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to more of the questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg Wilhelm. And now, in the number 2 draw, It is Grace Panditharai. Grace?
Good evening. My name is Grace Panditharai, and I am currently our Chief Felony Prosecutor here in Ellis County. And I will tell you that I am running to be your next law and order judge. I'd love to tell you a little bit about me. I grew up here in Ellis County. It is my hometown. It's my honor to be running for office in the place that I grew up in. My family chose Ellis County and chose Midlothian because they wanted a place where they could raise their children grounded in faith. And I will tell you that faith is the reason why I do everything that I'm called to do. You're going to learn from me over the next few months that I am a pro-life, Second Amendment person, and as a judge, I believe we have to make rulings within the Constitution. Now, what does that mean for a district court? Well, the thing you have to think about is the 443rd District Court is first and foremost a trial court. And as a felony prosecutor for over the last 14 years, I have had the honor of trying dozens and dozens and dozens of felony trials in Ellis County, starting with drug offenses all the way up to a capital murder. But do you want to know the cases that I'm most proud of? Is that I have had the honor and the distinct privilege of representing children who have been hurt in the courtroom, in a jury trial. I've called children as young as 4 and women as old as 78 to sit on the stand and tell the jury exactly how crime has affected their life. And that is why, to me, it's so important to have a judge who has trial experience. Because what a judge decides in that courtroom can change what the effect of a family is, but more importantly, it protects our community. And you need a judge who is grounded in experience, who's actually argued the case law, who has picked juries, who has handled suppression hearings, who has actually put testimony on, to know how to make wise and timely and efficient decisions. Because when you have a judge who does that, guess what's happening? Now we're taking care of the taxpayer dollar as we're thinking about how justice is being accomplished in our community. And I promise you, I can do that. As our chief felony prosecutor, I had the distinct honor and privilege of trying this county's first human trafficking case in Ellis County. And it was a jury trial, and we did it from jury trial to sentence, and I was able to secure a life sentence. And those are the strong sentences that I will bring when you elect me to be your next law and order judge. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. And speaking in the number 3 spot by draw of the candidates, it's Ken Lundberg. Ken?
Good evening, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for coming out tonight. A special thank you to the Ellis County Republican Women for hosting this event. My name is Ken Lundberg, and I'm running for the 443rd District Court. I grew up right here in Ellis County, and after law school, I practiced with my father at our office in Midlothian for 8 years. As an attorney, my areas of practice included family, criminal, and civil litigation. But most recently, I've been serving the citizens of Ellis County as an associate district court judge. And it's no secret to everyone in this room, our county is experiencing some growing pains. In fact, in the 443rd District Court, there were almost double the amount of cases filed last year when compared to the year prior. As an associate judge, I was brought on to help work through the overflow in our judicial system. And since taking the bench, I've handled cases for all 3 of our district courts. I presided over family dockets, criminal dockets, juvenile dockets, mental health dockets, civil dockets. We need an experienced utility player who can assist all of our courts in moving cases. I'm a firm believer that justice delayed is justice denied. And my time spent on the bench has taught me how to efficiently run a courtroom. My judicial philosophy, it goes without saying, a judge has to be fair and impartial. But I also believe in personal responsibility. which means that people need to be held accountable for their actions. This is a community in which my wife Rebecca and I are raising our family, and I truly believe that that's what's necessary to keep Ellis County safe. My name is Ken Lundberg. I'm running for the 443rd District Court. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Ken. So the questions we will be asking, and it's 2 questions. Each candidate will get 2 minutes to respond to those questions. The questions were actually submitted by the candidates themselves. In drawing those questions, we have no idea who it was that submitted those, but the ones that we have is what we'll be asking the candidates tonight. So we will start with Greg Wilhelm, and our first question of the evening, Greg, is when becoming a judge, what is more important? How many cases you have handled as an attorney, or the types of cases that you have handled?
I believe that the correct answer is both. Though, if you had spent all of your career handling traffic tickets, and you'd handled 100,000 of those, it probably wouldn't be the best position to be in a district court. You want to have a judge who has had a variety of experience in all areas of the law, because the 443rd at this moment is the criminal court, but it has concurrent jurisdiction, same jurisdiction as the 40th and the 378. So the judge in that position has to be ready to be able to handle whatever comes up, whether that be a removal of a child, whether that be a temporary restraining order from a foreclosure, or whether it be a criminal matter. And having been a judge and having presided over those cases, having signed warrants in the middle of the night, having handled juvenile, having handled family violence protective orders, having handled the abuse cases, having worked with the FBI and the Justice Department in a child pornography ring, that experience gives me both the number and gives me both the years that I believe suit me well to serve as judge of the 443rd.
Very good. Thank you so much. We will ask that same question of Grace Panditharai. Grace, given the situation, what do you feel is more important for a judge? How many cases you've handled as an attorney, or the types of cases you have handled?
Sure. So when you're thinking about what's happening in the 443rd District Court, I think what it's important to remember is that that is a trial court. Last year, we had 24 jury trials that were happening in that courtroom. Right? It is the only court in Ellis County that is hearing felony criminal cases. And we filed over 2,000 felony criminal cases last year. So it is going to be a trial felony court. When you think about the number and the type, I think you're going to hear from all 3 of us that both of those things are important. And they're important for 2 reasons. When you're thinking about the number, you're thinking about experience, right? Who do you want to trust when you're thinking about what happens to your loved one when they face some kind of trauma and they have to sit in that courtroom? Because I'll tell you right now, as much as I love meeting everybody, nobody meets anyone in that courtroom and is happy about being there. It's stressful, it's traumatic for both sides. And so you need a judge who has handled enough cases and enough type of felony criminal cases to be able to ensure that we are protecting the constitutional rights of every defendant who walks in that courtroom, which means you need someone who's had experience in handling those, but then also protect every child and witness who has to take that stand. That's why both experience and types of cases matter.
Thank you, Grace. And Ken Lundberg, we will pose the same question to you. In becoming a judge, what is more important? How many cases you have handled as an attorney, or the types of cases you have handled?
I think it's very important for a judge. I think it's very important for a judge to have a breadth of knowledge of all different types of area of the law. The 443rd District Court is a court of general jurisdiction, essentially meaning that it can handle any type of case. I think that my experience as an associate judge and as an attorney handling most different areas of the law allows me to have multiple different perspectives with which to view each individual case. Well, what I also think is important are the values that govern a judge to make their decision making. I am guided by the principles of limited government, which means that a judge needs to strictly adhere to the letter of the law. Far too often these days do we find activist judges seeking to advance their own agendas. I think it's important to have a judge with the breadth of knowledge to handle any type of case that comes at them, as well as having solid conservative values to back up their decision making.
Thank you very much. Our second question, and once again, we'll pose it first to Greg Wilhelm. Since you are seeking a election to an office where the incumbent is not seeking re-election, this question, I think, is very pertinent. Would you continue the judicial direction that Cindy Ermatinger has had all these years, or would you change course? And if you feel like there's a need for changing course, can you explain why?
I think that any individual coming into a new environment has to take their own experiences, their own skills, and their own training in order to handle a situation. I'm not going to sit here and give a criticism of how Judge Ermatinger has handled the court during this time. She started from scratch. She began working in, she started out originally having half civil and half criminal, and that morphed into primarily criminal. And in the middle of that, you had COVID that hit, and there became a backlog of cases to be able to be heard. My focus would be to work with the district attorney's office in identifying those cases which have been pending for the longest amount of time to bring those before the court. Because, again, as has been said before, this delay of somebody sitting in jail for 3 years, 2 years, whatever it may be, and not being able to get to court is a system that has to be fixed and has to be addressed. And that's done by the judge and the district attorney's office working together to do that. And one of the paramount mantras of my practice and of my vision of the law is that the level of justice that we end up giving the most guilty is eventually the level of justice that we're going to give the most innocent. So you don't cut corners just to get a conviction, and you don't go lenient just because you can. You give a fair, direct, and very clear ruling and judgment against those crimes,
30 seconds.
and then you, from there, you move on and you build upon that. So in summary, I'm going to run the court the way that I know. As a small business owner, I'll bring some new efficiencies to that court, and I will work with the DA's office in order to speed up the process and to clear out those cases. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Grace, we'll ask you the same question. If elected, would you continue in the same direction as Judge Ermatinger, or would you change course? And if so, would you please explain?
Sure, thank you so much. You know, for the last 10 years, I have been assigned as a prosecutor in Judge Ermatinger's court. 10 years. And I've seen it change over the last 10 years. And one of the biggest changes that has happened is in order to make sure that WebEx, which is the Zoom kind of hearings, was happening efficiently, the judges decided to put civil cases in one court and the criminal cases, every single criminal felony case, in one court. So you can imagine what happens when you take double the number of cases and then tell someone, equip this and figure out how to move double the amount of cases in still 8 hours a day. So that is one thing I would think about changing. And what's so amazing in Ellis County that is so unique to other counties is that we have a judicial bench with Judge Carroll and Judge Wallace and Judge Ermatinger who worked together, hand in hand. And it's a judicial bench that I know is going to continue to commit to work together in order to take care of Ellis County. But you know the one thing I wouldn't change in her courtroom? Judge Ermatinger treats every single person with respect. Even the person that gets a life sentence for doing something you would never do, she treats them with respect. And I think as a judge who is going to be fair and impartial, respect has to be the hallmark for every citizen who walks in that courtroom.
Thank you very much. Yes. election is Judge Ermatinger, our changed course, and in changing course, please explain why.
So first off, I want to say that Judge Ermatinger has been a great friend and mentor to me throughout my legal career. But whoever takes this bench has got to have a plan to deal with the rapid growth that our county is experiencing. There is a backlog in the 443rd, and we need to have a plan to deal with it. Since I took the bench as an associate judge in the 378, we were able to cut down the time it's taking to get to temporary hearings, which ultimately cut down the time it was taking to get to final trial. That's the same principle that needs to be applied to the 443rd. We need to cut down the time it's taking that cases are taking to get to trial. We need to get to trial faster. That is the only way that we are going to work through this backlog. So that's the change that I would make.
All right, thank you very much. And now we come to the closing statement. Again, you have 3 minutes for that. And Greg Wilhelm, you're first.
Thank you much. I'm asking for the individuals that are in this room and the individuals that are in this county who are registered to vote, that when you go into that polling place, with the opportunity beginning February 20th through March 1st, and then on March 5th, that you stop and consider who you want to be sitting at that bench to making decisions for the citizens of this county that will impact their lives and impact the county for many, many years to come. As you will see, and you've seen already, the three of us do not have a philosophy that greatly varies. And I'm not going to ask you to go to that polling place and vote against one of them. I'm asking you to go into that polling place and vote for me. Vote for someone who has spent almost 25 years in the practice of law. Someone who has been a presiding trial court judge already. Someone who has worked in a small business and has learned how to maximize efficiency that can be applied to the court system. My commitment, as I've stated before, is to make every ruling within the bounds of the Constitution. We cannot break that boundary, because when we do, your rights are affected. When we do, justice is affected. When you do, the state of Texas is affected. 25 years, trial court judge, having handled almost every aspect of the law and almost every type of case you could think of. That's the type of person I'm asking you to vote for, and that person is me. Having served in multiple areas of volunteer service, from starting the CASA program here in Ellis County, to serving on the statewide board for CASA, training individuals to be the voices for abused and neglected children, to serving at the request of former Governor Rick Perry in the Juvenile Justice Advisory Board, and having served as chair of a parental rights committee. I'm asking you to take that experience into consideration when you go and you're there privately and you go to cast that vote. And my commitment is that through my rulings and through my adherence to the Constitution is to protect your rights, it is to protect justice, and it is ultimately to protect Texas. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. That's Greg Wilhelm. Next for the closing statement, Grace Ponditherai. 3 minutes.
I'm sure you all can tell by now that both Mr. Lumberg and Mr. Wilhelm and myself are all committed. We're all people who want to serve the best for our community. They are incredible men who have incredible families and have hearts of service. And you're never going to hear me or someone from my camp say anything different. But what you will hear me say is that the 443rd is a trial court. It's a trial court. I was in this room 2 weeks ago picking juries, helping pick juries, because that's what happens in the 443rd District Court. And when you're talking about someone who can continue to protect your communities, who's not afraid to issue tough sentences when the facts and the law justify it, I'm your girl. Now, I know that I look cute, and I'm short, but I will tell you, when you're in my courtroom, I'm tough as nails. But there's also compassion, and there's also mercy for people who deserve rehabilitation. When you have someone who's suffering with drugs, maybe probation is option. And I gotta tell you, it takes a person with experience who has made those tough, hard calls to sit on that bench to continue to make tough, hard calls. You need a judge who has experience, who can make timely decisions, so that we're also not wasting taxpayer money as we're trying to hear all of these cases. Because what I will tell you, as a court reporter, as a judge, as a prosecutor, as an appointed defense attorney is sitting in that courtroom, we're all paying for it. So how do we accomplish justice timely, wisely, and efficiently? That's putting your vote in someone who has experience. I know I can be that judge for you because I've done it. I've made the hard calls as a prosecutor for the last 13 years. And it would be my distinct honor to have your vote and be your next law and order judge.
Thank you. Grace Pondi-Thurai. And the final closing statement, Ken Lundberg. Ken, you have 3 minutes.
Once again, thanks everyone for coming out here tonight. Just in closing, I want to reiterate that I am the only candidate who is currently sitting on the bench as a judge. So I have firsthand knowledge of all the work that needs to be done down at the courthouse. As you previously heard me say, in the 443rd, there were almost double the amount of cases filed last year when compared to the year prior. In addition, our jail is averaging about 550 inmates at any given time. Of those 550, approximately 400 of them are there simply awaiting trial. It's costing the county taxpayers $36,400 per day to house 400 inmates. That's the cost of the backlog in our system, folks. Since taking the bench as an associate judge, I have handled cases for all 3 district courts, but I specifically work in the 378. And since taking the bench there, we've been able to cut down the time it's taking to get to trial. That's what needs to happen in the 443rd. Our criminal justice and court system comprises about 1/3 of our total county budget. So we need to elect somebody who's ready to hit the ground running day 1 when elected. My experience as an associate judge means that I'm ready to do just that. I've been taught how to efficiently run a docket in a courtroom, which is ultimately going to translate to savings to the taxpayer's bottom line. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve the citizens of Ellis County as an associate judge. It's my desire to continue to serve from the district bench. That's why I'm running for the 443rd. My name is Ken Lundberg, and I'm asking for your vote.
Thank you, Ken. And those are your candidates for District Judge of the 443rd Judicial District. Greg Wilhelm, Ken Lundberg, and Grace Pondi-Thurai. Thank you so much. Next, we move to the Ellis County and District Attorney race, and the 2 candidates are our incumbent, Ann Montgomery, her challenger, Lindy Beatty, and by draw, Ann Montgomery will be first. So, Ann, you have 3 minutes to make your opening statement.
Thank you so much. My name is Ann Montgomery. That's not going to work. My name is Ann Montgomery, and I'm the current elected county and district attorney for Ellis County. I wasn't born and raised in Ellis County like some of these folks can say. I was born and raised in Johnson County, right next door. I attended UTA, got my degree in political science, went to work in the legal field early on in my career as a legal assistant. After that, I decided, you know what, I want to go to law school. And I did that. I went to law school at night, and I worked full-time during the day. So I'm not afraid of the hard work to put it in. Because of my experience, I came to the County and District Attorney's Office February 3rd of 2003. So in a couple of weeks, I will celebrate my 21st anniversary with the county. In my capacity there, I started first as a misdemeanor prosecutor. Then I moved quickly up to the civil division. Then I moved up to the first assistant. When the elected decided not to run again, I ran, and I won. And I took office January 1st of 2021. Now, everybody's talked about it. We all know what happened in 2020, right? We had a little bit of an issue. The court system was shut down. There were no in-person court proceedings for 18 months. 18 months we did not have criminal jury trials. It just did not happen. So that created a little bit of backlog. We're working through that gradually. We're working through the system, making sure everybody is getting justice in Ellis County. So in 2016, I moved to Ellis County and became quickly active in multiple organizations. One of those was the Republican Women, in which I became an officer very quickly. I'm also the president of the Waxahachie Rotary Club. I'm vice president of the Symphony Association. I'm invested in this community. I live here and I'm active in this community. So when I ran in 2020, I said a couple of things. First, I said I'd be tough on crime, and that's exactly what happened. Yesterday, my team got 4 life sentences that were stacked on a sex offender. I'm giving them the ability and the resources necessary to do their job. All you have to do is look at my office's official Facebook page and you will see the verdicts that we're getting, and they're phenomenal. When I also ran, I made 4 campaign promises. First, I said we would start a veterans treatment court. That's done. I got a $110,000 grant,
30 seconds.
and we have hired somebody to take that over. So we're working through that. All the other campaign promises I've kept. Every year I've returned money back to the county in my budget. I gave the county back $500,000 last year from my budget that was unused. So I'm a fiscal conservative. I would appreciate your vote and to re-elect me as your county and district attorney.
And now the opening statement from Lindy Beatty. Lindy, you have 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Lindy Beatty, candidate for Ellis County and District Attorney. I started my career in Atascosa County, which is the county south of San Antonio. I started working as a prosecutor there. I stayed there for about 3.5 years, and then I moved here to Ellis County in 2004 to work for then County and District Attorney Joe Grubbs. I took over as a juvenile prosecutor, where I prosecuted all levels of juvenile crime for about 10 months. After that, I moved up to be a felony prosecutor. For the next several years, I was the only prosecutor that handled the child sex crimes in this county. I took it over, and those were most of the best cases and the worst cases you're ever going to see, and was able to secure several life sentences for child molesters. In fact, I was one of the first prosecutors in the entire state to secure a life sentence for continuous sexual abuse of a small child. After doing that, I moved to be the misdemeanor chief prosecutor, where I continued to have a caseload in addition to mentoring new prosecutors that were coming into our office. After that, I moved up to be the chief felony prosecutor, where again, I had a full caseload in addition to supervising other attorneys. I have a breadth of experience in criminal trials. My entire legal career has been dedicated to the pursuit of justice, whether it's the over 18 years I have spent as a prosecutor or the last 4 years where I have been a defense attorney, making sure that people's constitutional rights, our God-given constitutional rights, are not violated. As a prosecutor at the district attorney's office, I consistently and routinely was the prosecutor who not only filed the most cases, but disposed of the most cases. You can talk to anybody that is currently in that courts building right now, or people that I have worked with in the past, judges, defense attorneys, my peers. I am very well respected. I'm known for being tough. I'm also known for being fair. I'm also known for being even-keeled. You cannot hurt my feelings. You will not make me cry. I've heard it all. I've been accused of everything. I have been threatened when I had trials.
Seconds.
It does not change who I am and what I seek to do. I'm running because of the inefficiencies that I believe are currently going on in the district attorney's office, and I have plans to fix that, and I will tell you about that in my closing. Thank you.
Our first question, Ann Montgomery, and the district attorney's race will be, given the budget issues that you face, how would you stretch current resources to get the most fiscal responsibility for taxpayers, and how would you work with county commissioners in this endeavor? 2 minutes.
I've done that for 21 years, and that's what I can say. I've given money back every year in my budget, $500,000 last year, 200 and something thousand the year before, almost 200,000 the year before that. Every year, I've given the taxpayers back money that I have not utilized. We are woefully understaffed though, but we keep doing our job. My prosecutors work long hours. What I also did was, since we had the American Rescue Plan money, I asked the court to give us money and for positions so that we could use that to help with the backlog. That is federal government money that they gave to us, that the taxpayers are not paying for those positions and haven't been for the last 2.5 years. So, hopefully, with the tax base as it goes up, the court will be able to continue to fund those positions because we need those positions. We need more than one court, and you've heard it. We have one court handling felonies, 2 courts handling misdemeanors. My most serious cases get funneled through one court. So there's not a lot I can do about that at this point with the efficiencies, because I have one court that I'm funneling everything through. So I've given money back to the taxpayers every year. I look at my budget when I prepare it every year. I prepared my budget before I took office. So I've done 4 budgets at this point. Our budget is $6.7 million, and you want somebody with the experience that knows how to handle a budget that size.
Thank you. Lindy Beatty. Given the budget issues, how would you stretch current resources to get the most fiscal responsibility for taxpayers, and how would you work with the county commissioners in this endeavor? 2 minutes.
The budget has always been an issue, right? We are a conservative county. That means we are also fiscally conservative. I know what it's like to work at a district attorney's office when we are begging the commissioners to give us more people, to give us more resources, and we didn't get it. I know what it's like to have one judge to funnel the cases through, because I was in that court when it was just Judge Carroll. And guess how many jury trials we did? 24. You also heard Grace say that they did 24 this year. That's using the current judge and some additional judges that have come in to help. I know how to move those cases along. The reason that money is being given back is because they cannot fill the vacancies at the district attorney's office because people leave. It's not giving money back. It's money that wasn't used for positions that are open. There's positions currently open right now. From January of 2021 until now, 45 employees of the county and district attorney have left. You cannot run any business efficiently when you do that. And so it requires a leader that can keep and retain those employees.
Yep.
Some of them are going, and some of them are here now. So I encourage you to ask them why they truly left the district attorney's office. It was not for money. It's always been the fact that you can get more money if you work in Dallas. For the 15 years I was a prosecutor, I knew I could always go north 30 miles and make more money. But this is my home. This is where my family is. I'm invested and committed here. So you got to work those relationships with the commissioners and work with them to be able to maintain the budgets, to use it appropriately, and maximize the resources.
Our second question in the Ellis County District Attorney's race, Ann Montgomery, in your opinion, what is the most pressing issue facing the District Attorney's office right now?
Sure. The backlog of criminal cases for jury trials. That is pressing. You have heard everybody say, we've got the one court, everything is funneled through that one court, All of those defendants are staying in jail until those cases are tried. So that is something that we need to look into. The other thing is retention and recruitment of employees, which is a statewide issue. If you go and Google prosecutor shortages in the state of Texas, you will see it's in every county. It is not just Ellis County. Actually, it's a nationwide issue and has been since before COVID. COVID didn't help because what did COVID do? It told people, attorneys specifically, you could stay at home and practice on Zoom and not have to go into your office. That's not our job. We're always in our office. We're always working 8 to 5 for the citizens of Ellis County and on weekends and after hours. So recruitment and retention is huge. We have never in our district and counties attorneys association had to have classes on recruitment and retention. Since I've taken office, every conference has a class on that. We have to go into law schools now. We used to not have to do that. I have post-bar intern positions because that's how I get new positions and new people. Yes, there's people that have left my office. I will tell you over 45% of those left to go to other counties making more money, left to move out of state, left to join the military, or left to go into private
30
practice.
seconds.
So you have to look at the facts behind the numbers and not just the numbers.
Lindy Bailey, we would ask you the same question. In your opinion, what is the most pressing issue facing the district attorney's office right now?
The most pressing issue is the efficiency. The efficiency of that office affects the budgets for the sheriff's department, for the county clerk, the district clerk, their budgets, probation, every other department. The district attorney has an extreme amount of power. The district attorney decides when a case gets filed. The district attorney decides how many cases get filed. The district attorney decides when the defense attorneys get their discovery. The district attorney's office decides when a plea bargain is being offered. Those are all within the realm of the district attorney's office. And when that's not efficient, your courts get clogged. Understand what COVID did. COVID did not shut down the courts. Why? How do I know? I was in those courts in the end of March of 2020. Mask on with everybody else. And the judges had the forethought to get the jail cases on quicker at that time. So, because they knew it would cause a backlog if they didn't. So that's the true issue. Those things have fallen off in the last 3 years, and that's why I'm running. I love what I do. I loved being a prosecutor, and I do love being a defense attorney as well. Everything has value, because full circle
30
experience
seconds.
will make you more efficient and effective to make the right decisions for the right reasons to move the cases forward. I want to be your next county and district attorney. I will never make excuses for anything that gets done. The buck stops here. It falls on me.
And our closing statements for Ellis County District Attorney with the incumbent again, Ann Montgomery. And you have 3 minutes.
Today we set an in-jail plea for March. That's the date the court gave us. That's not on my office. That's on the court system because she doesn't have enough time to handle all the cases. Think about it. We're at January 25th, right? March. That's $92 a day, approximately, that we're paying to keep an inmate in jail. Okay? That's not on my office because we're just waiting on the court to give us the time to do that. So, why am I running again? For 21 years, I have served the citizens of Ellis County. I answered the call when they needed a misdemeanor attorney. I answered the call when they needed a civil attorney. When they needed a first assistant. When somebody needed to step in and run for this office, I did it. 21 years of experience. This is not just a criminal district attorney's office. I got a call last week at 6:30 in the morning from an elected official. With what? A civil legal issue that I was able to answer. I didn't have to pick up the phone and call anybody else because I knew the answer. Because my experience is not just criminal. It's civil. It's employment law. It's CPS. Yes, Judge Wilhelm, I was on that 5-week Munchausen by proxy case, jury trial. I mean, in 2009, 5 weeks that I was in the trial. Those are hard cases. Hard cases. So I have the experience because it's not just criminal. It's a county attorney's office
30 seconds.
with felony responsibility. And that's what you have to remember when you're deciding who to vote for. I will be updating my website with all the statistics that we've done and everything that we have accomplished. I would appreciate you if you would look at that. It's annmontgomery.com, and I would also appreciate your vote. Thank you.
And the closing statement from Lindy Bailey.
The district attorney's office does handle a wide array of cases. It also handles civil. It handles mental health protective orders. Every kind of case. But let's talk about waste and why I'm here. The budget for inmate medical for 2023 was $2.5 million. The budget for 2024 is $5 million. We cannot keep them there. So the questions you need to be asking about that jail plea is how long did they sit in jail before that case got indicted? How long did they sit in that jail before the defense attorney got a chance to look at the evidence and discovery? How long did they sit in jail before the prosecutor made an offer to that defense attorney to do a plea? Months. It's not the 1 month that you're waiting to get a court date. So you need to look at those numbers. When we talk about civil, the Commissioner's Court in the last budget budgeted and approved $150,000 to hire a civil attorney because they were dissatisfied with the level of service they were getting from the county and district attorney's office. There's waste everywhere around that you look at. This job is about relationships. You must get along with commissioners, judges, defense attorneys, bail bondsmen, county clerks, district clerks, and most of all, your employees. I understand that when you elect me, you are electing a public servant. I am a servant to you. So I should not be standing up here. I should be down here with you because I serve you and your needs. I'm here to give you a choice. You have a choice in the direction that you want your criminal justice system to run. I'm asking you to choose me because I have the experience, the knowledge, and honestly the personality to get along with other people to make things run more smoothly. And I appreciate your thoughts.
And there's the race for Ellis County and District Attorney Ann Montgomery and Lindy Bailey. Thank you so much. Our final contested race is for Ellis County Commissioner Precinct 1. Our two candidates are the incumbent Randy Stinson and his challenger Travis Smith. Travis drew the #1 spot in their drawing. So Travis, you have 3 minutes to make your opening statement.
Thank you, Ken. And technically, I didn't draw the #1 spot. Randy drew the #2 spot. I am Travis Smith. I am a current city council member for the great city of Waxahachie. I'm in my second term, third year. I've been blessed over the past 3 years to learn some hard truths, to grow up quite a bit, to learn how to balance a $93 million budget, and to learn the importance of retention. Employee retention is one of the biggest issues that I think every governmental group will face. And you do that through initiatives that we've already accomplished in the past 3 years, through compensation studies that you actually implement. You do that through finding new ways to appreciate your employees who are already there. Because if you lose one employee, it takes 6 months to replace that employee, then it's 6 more months of training, and you're a year behind on whatever project that might be. It might be a road project. It might be a bridge project. It might be improving safety on either of those. But retention is so crucial. It's so easy to avoid if you're budgeting, not just for this year, and not just for next year, but you're budgeting for 10 years out, for 15 years out, and you're putting those projects and identifying the issues well in advance. I believe that, yes, a commissioner has to focus on policy and property rights and roads and bridges. But what I feel has been lost, and it's not shade to anybody, except it's shade to almost every elected official. What I feel has been lost is the truths of accountability, availability, and transparency. And those are 3 truths that I will provide every single day. You can see me on Facebook. I give my cell phone number to anybody. I'll return texts and calls and whatever it is. But I'm here because I'm here to serve you. I'm here to serve our entire community, the entire county, not one subsection. With that in mind, that's about all that I had for the start. Ken, I went way too fast. It's my 30-second talk.
You have 35 seconds left.
Mr. Stinson, come on up.
All right, thank you, Travis. And your incumbent, Randy Stinson. Randy, you have
I'll use your left arm. My wife's usually kicking me in the leg when I'm talking. I know what that means. But at the same time, I was born in Ellis County. I lived here most all of my life. I strayed into Lancaster for a while. Finished up my schooling in Red Oak. I went to 2 other schools in Ellis County. At the same time, my family's been in mechanical business for 68 years. 38 of those, or really 36 of those, my partner and I owned the company. We bought our dad's out. We did anything from single story all the way to 42 stories. We worked in 4 other states, been licensed in 4 other states. Made 5 anywhere from Florida, Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. I did not want to go to California. I think that's where all our contractors were working, East Coast, West Coast. When it died in the mid-'80s, we ended up on the East Coast. Learn a lot. There's a lot of things that you can learn by going to other states rather than just our states. That's where we cut our teeth on high-rise and came back here, went into the high-rise business, and we're very successful. The reason I quit business is I'm a law-abider. I don't break the law. But as you know, you have to have a professional license to do HVAC, electrical, and plumbing. Our industry right now, I'd say 65% of the work is being done by illegal aliens that have no certifications from our state to be doing the work. But we all know where that came from. I told myself I'm not going to break the law, because eventually when the law gets straightened out, they're going to come back and they're going to go after contractors, not these people that collect the money, but they're going to come after the people that are making money doing it. I didn't want to get caught up in that. I took my marbles and I put them in the bag and I liquidated and I went home. My partner and I both. The Lord has blessed me. Everything that I've accomplished in life is not what I expected. There is a lot of truth in what the Lord tells us in His Word. If He closes the door, He's going to open a window. And every time I walked out the door, He always shoved me through that next window. And if I went through some windows faster, I would have been a whole lot more profitable than I was. But at the same time, the Lord tells us He won't give you more than you can handle. And some of us, who knows? I may have been a corrupt man if I'd made more money than I did. So sometimes He's going to tell you, I'm not going to make you a rich man. But I'm going to make you a man that's going to stand up for what's right. I represent Ellis County. I represent the taxpayers. I've got roots in this county. I've got 14 grandkids that live here. One strayed to Lily when she got married, but we're working on her to get back. At the same time, I have children that are teachers here. I have 3 of my children that are working in sex trafficking. They're actually out there doing something. They started a nonprofit. It's called Save People. But they advocate for those children that are caught up in this. And I believe that that's what integrity is about. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our first question for this race, Travis. You'll have 2 minutes to answer. What is the one part of county government that you feel like should receive the most attention if you are elected?
The Sheriff's Department. I think that's a pretty easy answer. The truth is that the county and the county's responsibility is not getting any smaller. In fact, it's growing exponentially. With each new MUD that might have 400 homes, 4,000 homes, you add 3.2 folks for each of those homes, and quickly that 400 home development now has 1,200 people that the Sheriff's Department is going to have to be responsible for keeping safe. We don't have enough substations. The retention is as difficult as it can be because of the resources that the Sheriff's Department has been given, and the investment there needs to happen because the Sheriff's Department is competing against every single police department in the county and the neighboring counties. It's easy to work a job as a police officer in South Dallas, Fort Worth, and still live here. We have to ensure that we're giving the Sheriff's Department the tools that they need to keep our county residents safe. And to piggyback off of that, first response on the medical side is in the exact same boat. There is no reason that Ellis County cannot work together collaboratively between multiple cities and the county and have our own AMR service. There's no reason. But yet we're out here, we have the city of Ferris trying to do their own thing, Waxahachie trying to do their own thing. And at the end of the day, I think we all know that we have a lawsuit or multiple out now against our previous provider. Instead of combining our resources to provide better for the community, we're out here just not working together. And it's such a simple fix if you are willing to put in the work and you have the energy to do it. And I believe I do.
That's your time. Thank you so much. Thomas. Randy Stinson will ask you that same question. If re-elected, what is the one part of county government that you feel like should receive the most attention from you?
Well, there's multiple departments. I think anybody in here, if you look at our budget, we are a conservative court. I think it's one of the best courts we've had in years. We have a diverse court. Each person brings something to that court that another person doesn't quite look at every time. And sometimes we bat it off at each other. And our sheriff's department, I'm not going to ask Brett to tell you how much we've helped them since we come in there. I mean, they were driving junk for cars. They didn't have the backup that they needed. It was because of lack of teamwork, not on his part, but because of elected officials. I think we have a unified court, and I've said many times, and I don't advocate for just one person. When we put our budget together each year, we send out budget requests to each department. They come back to us, and I don't think you'll find any department that says that we're not advocating for each and every department in Ellis County. Employee retention is important. I dealt with employees my whole life. I mean, when I first started, we did everything with hourly employees. We were looking at a budget of every week we spent $150,000 just on the employees. By the time we finished, our budget every month was $1 million a month. So I've dealt with budgets all over the state, and you try and manage people in 5 other states. It's a full-time job. But at the same time, the way you get the best out of your employees is give them encouragement. Don't run them down. Don't go out there and beat them up just because they made a mistake. Which, when I started, we had junk for equipment. Today, we've got state-of-the-art equipment. We're building better roads. We're using chemical stabilization. We're using base materials so those roads will stay together longer instead of going out there and grinding the road up, putting 2 coats of chip seal on it, and it starts getting washes within 2 to 3 years. It takes us a little longer to build a road, but we're putting more money into it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Both of you gentlemen have mentioned exponential growth in the county, and with that in mind, Travis, what do you see as the experience you can bring to county, especially precinct 1, as far as needs for infrastructure within that precinct?
I feel that my past 3 years have prepared me to take on that task head first. With a little luck, I hope that the state that I hope that the state legislature this next session will provide counties with a little more oversight as far as what developments can come into the county. That will be one thing that I will be very active and very vocal to help push through. Because if we do take that proactive approach, and we do manage the resources, the natural resources that we do have in place, that's how we have to approach it. As far as the infrastructure on the roadways, that's where we're going to be in the biggest pickle in probably 10 to 15 years, 20 years for sure. Because these muds that are being developed, those roads in the neighborhoods there, and some of them are high-dollar homes, that's not a chip seal road. Those are concrete roads. So how are we as a county and as county commissioners, how are we going to budget to address those? And that is going to be one of the biggest things that we have to really put some thought into, because that bill is coming sooner, not later. I know from experience on the city side that addressing road improvements and corridor improvements, it's a daunting task. A simple spreadsheet can help you some, but it doesn't help that crew get it done. So at the end of the day, again, it's just taking that proactive approach to knowing what is coming and what is on the horizon.
Thank you so much, Travis. Randy Stinson, it is a growing county. You mentioned it, so with that in mind, what experience do you bring to the folks in Precinct 1 as far as keeping up with the need for infrastructure to meet that growth?
Well, we've been addressing that ever since I came in. As the rest of the court will tell you, little will tell you, we put an initiative plan together. We've been working on it for the 7 years that I've been in there. Little hadn't been there that long, but we've got plans. I've retained $4 million in my budget since I came into office. When I came into office, I was using every bit of the money was gone every year. It takes a lot. You want to build more roads, you got to have money to do it. But at the same time, you people are paying for it. So how much more do you want to pay? You want me to pour concrete road from every subdivision in Ellis County back to the city? How about mud district? Yeah, they're hitting with 27, 28 of them right now. They're planning over 40,000 homes are impacted to hit Ellis County. Yeah, it's a huge question. How are we going to pay for that? There are ways to do it, but you're not going to do it overnight. We've taken care of our sheriff's department. They're driving cars that are nice cars. Our people are not unsafe out on the road. Radio equipment, backup. We put in extra towers. We're on the news. When we came in, you had a deputy back off in the woods on a manhunt. He had no way to contact you. You couldn't reach back to the county. You couldn't reach any other car. You were just no man's land. So you're out there on your own. We've actually solved those problems. We brought internet.
30 seconds.
In every county we've got internet. It's coming. That's the first thing people ask me, when are you going to bring us into the 21st century? That's what we did. We brought you internet. We're still working on that. At the same time, we've got to be conservative with our budgets. I pay these taxes here too. They're ridiculous. But they're conservative taxes. If you look around at any county our size, we run a smaller tax rate than anybody. We've lost 13.5 cents from a 41 cents that our tax rate per hundred when I started. Now we're at somewhere around 27.5 cents per hundred. Now your appraisals went up. They don't have anything to do with that. But when they go up, we try and lower that tax rate to keep
Two times.
out of the box. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Closing statements for our candidates for Ellis County Commissioner Precinct 1, and 3 minutes, Travis Smith.
I will not need the 3 minutes.
That's
I promise. I'll keep it short and sweet. My table is back here on the left. My family is here. We would love to speak to you and talk more in depth about some of the subjects that will bore some of you to sleep, such as MUDs and development and those things. What I will say is that I don't make too many campaign promises. But the 3 that I will make is that I will be present, I will be accountable, and I will be transparent. And those are 3 things that you can count on every single day that I will provide to every single resident of this county. I'm excited for the opportunity. I look forward to bringing some energy and some fresh ideas to the historic Ellis County Courthouse. But outside of that, I would just be honored to have your vote and support in this upcoming March 5th Republican primary. Thank you.
Thank you, Travis Smith. And the closing statement from the incumbent of Ellis County Commissioner Precinct 1, Randy Stinson. 3 minutes.
Well, what I'm offering is experience. I've got a 38-year career that taught me the things that I need to know as far as helping this county go forward into the future. It's not a guessing game as to how you're going to do that. I mean, you got to run a county just like a business. I said that when I came in. I'm not a politician. I'm not going to stand up here and tell you I'm going to put a chicken in every pot. That's not what I'm about. I'm going to tell you, you talk about transparency. I heard transparency when Obama was running. We really got transparency. It's got us in the mud. But at the same time, we have got to band together as a community. We've got to band together as a county. I not only respect my guys in my barn over there, each precinct out there now is doing better work than we were doing back when I came in. We are a unified county. Our workers, our development department, whether it's our legal department, all of them are getting the tools they need. They're getting the infrastructure they need. At the same time, we've got to answer to y'all for what we're doing with our budget. In the mid-'80s, bottom fell out everything. We were laying people off. We lost half our employees in the barn. What do you think happened to our roads? They degraded for 4, 5, 6, 7 years until the tax base got back up to where we could pay for things. That was the problem where you had too low a tax rates. Then when the bottom fell out, everything, you couldn't come back and get enough money. Now we're tied to 3.5% is the max we can go up. We've navigated that as a commissioner's court to where that we pay for, we don't owe money. We have a small bond that we owe for. And the things that you've seen us building for growth, new district court we created, where would we be right now if we didn't have a new district court? These people that are sitting up here talking about not clearing enough cases. I heard somebody say the other day there were 800 people in our county lockup. We've never had 800 people. It teeters around 480 to 500. Sometimes it trickles a little over, but never 800. So everything you hear, you vet that. I've been here. I'm experienced. I've been there 7 years. You can go back and look at my voting record as far as what I've done for you. I'm not about myself. Everything that I don't understand, I research it. And when I still don't have 100% understanding, I pray and I ask God to give me the answers that I need to be able to represent you. Because I make mistakes, as everybody does. But they're made. When you make a mistake, that's a learning experience. Take it, use it for the future. Advocate, go forward, but you've got to work with unity. I'll never bash my opponent. I don't think he'll ever bash me. That's what I like about Ellis County. We're all people that advocate for our Lord. We advocate for the people that we serve. And when you come to my office, if I'm not there, you call me on the phone. I'm always around. Thank you.
Thank you. Randy Stinson, Travis Smith, Ellis County Commissioner, Precinct 1. Yes. We are going to, those are our contested races. We have agreed to offer a couple of minutes for each of those candidates who are here in uncontested races to address the crowd if they would so choose. Simply from the list I have before me, we can make some changes on the fly we can, but the first name I have on this list is Judge Court of Law number 3, Joe Gallo. So if you'd like to address the crowd, we'd be glad to hear you.
All right, thank you very much. I just want to say how grateful I am to have had this opportunity to serve as your Ellis County Court of Law number 3 judge. I couldn't do this without the support of the Ellis County Republican Women and all the active Republican members that are here tonight. I want to give a specific shout out to my staff, Emily Gladwell Fetch, she's my coordinator. I want to give a shout out to my bailiff, Aaron Martin, and to my court reporter, Melody Raycheck. I've done this without them, and I'm so grateful, especially after hearing all the debate going on, that I didn't draw an opponent. I'd like to think that's hopefully as a result of people thinking I did a good job, and I know I couldn't be there without your support, and I thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you so much. Joe Gallo, Judge, County Court at Law Number 3. Also uncontested in the primary, Ellis County Sheriff Brad Norman.
Good evening. My name is Brad Norman, and I'm your sheriff. And I've spent about 20 years in law enforcement in Ellis County, at the Ellis County Sheriff's Office, and 25 total as a peace officer in Texas. And I want to take just a moment and thank each one of you. Thank the citizens of Ellis County for the faith and confidence you've given in me. I am running unopposed. I do not have an opponent in the March primary. And I take that as a compliment. I take that as, like I said, faith and confidence from each one of you. We've done quite a bit at the Sheriff's Office in the last 3 years. One of the biggest things that we're really proud of is we've got every deputy in the Ellis County Sheriff's Office is a mental health peace officer, certified by TCO as a mental health peace officer. That's a big deal. That gives my men and women the ability to observe someone that's in crisis, having a mental health crisis. It gives us the tools and the ability to observe that, recognize that, and give them the help that they need. So that's a big one. We've just implemented a drone program at the Sheriff's Office in the last year, and we actually put them up today. We had a barricaded person today. Our SWAT team was called out, the whole 9 yards. We've got a full-blown SWAT team at the Sheriff's Office. They do a phenomenal job. But that's something that it's a force multiplier.
30 seconds.
We can get people up in the air. We can get folks up in the air and take a look at things and be able to identify issues. But you heard a lot of talk about the jail, and I know just a few minutes, but right now I've got 498 people in Ellis County Jail, and that's my responsibility. And I want to say this for sure, I've got 265 employees at the Ellis County Sheriff's Office, and they do a phenomenal job each and every day, and they make me look good. So I want to give them a round of applause, if nothing else. Thank you for your support. My number is published. It's on Facebook. Anybody wants it, you can have my cell phone number. If somebody says they can't get hold of me, they're lying to you. I promise you, my phone rings all the time. Call me if you need me. Thank you.
That's our sheriff, Brad Norman. You can also hear him every other Monday morning at 8:10 on KBEC talking about these very things as well. How about Ellis County Tax Assessor Collector Richard Rozier, who's going to come speak to us this time?
Well, good evening. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for giving to the Republican Women for giving us this opportunity. And if they've done it for many, many years, that's always a great event. I want to thank our great homegrown local hero, Ken Roberts, for his great work. He does such a great job at all these kind of things, announcing all the ball games and things. He really is a treasure. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Well, let me just say quickly, I'm honored to serve. It was about 3 years ago, in a couple of weeks, it'll be about 3 years ago, that I came home one Friday afternoon and told Karen that several people had approached me about running for, or actually filling the unexpired term for John Bridges, who's retired as our tax assessor collector. And I said, by the way, we got to make the decision by 5 o'clock. So we prayed about it quick and decided to do it. And it's been a great journey. And I'm very thankful for your support. I'm honored to serve you. I'm honored to serve our Republican Party in office. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to serve. Real quickly, we process taxes and registered cars. We register about 250,000 cars a year and title those vehicles in Ellis County. We collect about $1 billion in property taxes for 57 entities. So our county is growing very quickly. My office handles about $1.25 billion in total money in a year. We're working on, when I took office, I promised to do 2 things. Number 1, operate with integrity, because we want to make sure we take care of your money. We don't want to lose a penny of it. And we balance to the penny every day. second thing we wanted to do is have an office that serves your needs. Customer service is extremely high in our priority list. And when you come to our office, we want you to be treated kindly and nicely and enjoy that process, even though nobody wants to pay taxes. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Next to speak in uncontested incumbent race for Ellis County Constable Precinct 2, Casey Borders.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Thank you guys all for coming out. Thank you to the commissioners and county judge who appointed me back in 2021 and to the citizens that voted for me. We're excited about our new building. We have great things going on in Precinct 2. We also, as constables, we serve civil process, we do court security for JP, we do evictions, that sort of thing, and I'm starting my 29th year here in Ellis County. I'm very happy to be here serving the citizens. I appreciate your support, and I want to thank you guys all for coming out and supporting all the candidates tonight.
Thank you, Casey. Appreciate that voice. Next, we have the incumbent Ellis County Constable Precinct 4, Mark Bounds.
I'd like to thank everybody for this event. It's a great event. I'm not going to take up a lot of your time. I'm running unopposed. Happy about that. I know but I've lived in Ellis County for 17 years. I love Ellis County. I've worked in Ellis County. I'm not from here, but I got here as quick as I could. Just want to let you know that as your Constable Precinct 4, I'll be available anytime you need me, anytime you want me. That's all I have to say. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
I want to say thank you to our Texas Representative, House District 10, Brian Harrison. I know he had a hard time getting here on time to join us, but he did. And we're so glad that he did, and we're going to let Brian come address the crowd as well. Thank you, Brian Harrison.
Howdy! Man, it's great to be with y'all. Especially, we set a record in the state of Texas last year. For those of you who don't know this, we have never had 5 calendar sessions. We've never had 5 sessions of the Texas legislature in the same calendar year until last year. So after spending all of last year in Austin, it's really great to be back with you here in Texas. So listen, it's a real honor to represent you. I'm blessed to not have an opponent, either a Republican or a Democrat. So unless I get flattened on my way out of here, y'all are stuck with me for another term. But please know what an incredible honor it is to get to represent you. And not just you as people, but you as the vehicle for the principles that we all hold dear, the principles that made our state great, the principles that made our country great, the principles of individual liberty and freedom, of secure borders, of governments that are constrained in their power by the limits placed on it by our Constitution. And let me tell you, as your representative, even though we don't have a race here in House District 10, on your behalf, I'm doing everything I can, traveling around the state, to elect other pro-liberty, pro-freedom, pro-border security, constitutional conservatives, so we can take our state back, and especially the Texas House. And I'll tell you, when I ran for office for the first time, I made a commitment to y'all that when every vote that I took, I would do my best to honor the commitments that I made to you, as opposed to making my #1 priority what is sadly for too often their goal, which is to be popular with a special interest in the Austin Swamp. My commitment was to fight for you, to vote for the ways and the principles that I know you would want that would represent Ellis County and the state of Texas, and I believe that I've done that. And if you look at what's happening nationally, and especially at our border right now, guys, Ronald Reagan once said that the United States of America may be the last best hope for man on earth. Well, if you look at what's happening on our border, ladies and gentlemen, Texas may be the last best hope for America. So the last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to get off the stage, is probably the most important thing I'm going to say to you. I'm going to say thank you. Thank you for giving me the honor to represent you and to be your voice to fight for freedom and liberty for Austin. I'm going to say that thank you for another reason. Thank you for being here. Guys, there has never been perhaps a greater crossroads our state and our country is at. And if we're going to save this state, it's not going to come from the top down. It's not going to come from the special interest in D.C. or in Austin. It's going to come from patriots at the grassroots, at the bottom, from the bottom up, like every one of you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me represent you in Austin. God bless you, and God bless the great state of Texas.
Thank you, Brian Harrison. We do appreciate that so much. Beverly Gatlin, I turn it over to you.
Well, it's been a great evening. I want to thank everyone that came out, and we want to thank all of our candidates. We want to wish them good luck and in their positions. And we also want to thank Ken Roberts with KBEC for hosting this event with us. They always do a great job. And I want to say thank you to all the Ellis County Republican Women for all their tireless work that they put in to make this event a success. I think it's been a great evening. I hope you've all got some of your questions answered and meet some of the candidates. They may be around for a little bit longer, so hopefully if you didn't get a chance to catch them before, you can catch them now. Also, we want to remind you to get out and vote on March the 5th, and be sure to take a friend with you. You need get as many people as you can to get to the voting location so everybody can vote. And I guess that's all we have. Please make sure you pick up all your literature from the chairs and so forth, and have a safe night. Thank you.